In 2024, the U.S. presidential election witnessed a dramatic confrontation between former President Trump Cati and Vice President Harris Moon. On the political stage, the two completely opposing figures prepared for their final showdown. Trump Cati, with his unyielding determination, had returned to politics after 4 years away from the White House. He represented a loyal base of supporters, primarily those who felt abandoned and disappointed by the Democratic Party's policies. With the slogan, "Make America Great Again," for the second time, Cati vowed to reverse all the current administration's actions and restore America's status as an unrivaled superpower. Despite being surrounded by numerous controversies in the past, he proved that his influence remained undiminished. On the opposite side stood Harris Moon, the first woman in U.S. history to hold the position of vice president and now the Democratic Party's presidential candidate. Harris represented change, advocating for a diverse, progressive, and just America. Having worked closely with President Biden, Harris had proven herself to be a strong and sharp leader. She promised to continue the path of the current administration, building a more inclusive America, from social reforms and environmental protection to a humane foreign policy. The race became increasingly tense. Trump Cati, with his aggressive style, repeatedly attacked Moon, calling her a faded version of the current president, accusing her of lacking leadership in difficult situations. He emphasized the weaknesses of the Democratic administration, such as economic instability and unresolved immigration issues. Moon remained undeterred. In a crucial debate, she confronted Cati directly, criticizing him as someone who had divided the country through racial discrimination and economic policies harmful to workers. Moon stressed that America's future could not return to the old conflicts that Cati had once fueled, but rather needed to move toward unity and progress. Both campaigns put all their energy into the final weeks. Moon received strong support from people of color, women, and the youth, while Cati maintained his dominance in industrial and rural states. A critical event occurred when the FBI announced a new investigation related to Cati's businesses. This scandal sparked controversy, but rather than weakening Cati, it reinforced his supporters' belief that he was a victim of the political system they deemed corrupt. Moon and her campaign swiftly capitalized on the event, highlighting the transparency and integrity of the new administration she promised to bring. The night before Election Day, amid rising tension, Harris received a phone call. A secret message from her national security team. There were signs that external forces were trying to interfere with the election results, similar to what had happened in 2016. Harris decided not to disclose this information immediately, but prepared for a legal battle if necessary. Finally, in the early hours, in Pennsylvania, the battleground state that would decide it all, both candidates waited anxiously. Harris Moon, though leading, couldn't hide her worry after the mysterious phone call the night before. She whispered something into her secretary's ear, her eyes never leaving the screen showing the election results. On the opposite side, Trump Cati remained unusually silent, deep in thought. Just as the process was about to shift to vote counting and announcing the winner, an SUV near the square suddenly exploded. The crowd erupted in chaos, screaming, "Bomb, terrorists!" The scene immediately descended into panic, with people frantically running and pushing, while sirens blared everywhere. And it didn't stop there. One after another, 4 more cars exploded, sending shockwaves throughout the square. The FBI swiftly launched an investigation. Both candidates and high-ranking officials were quickly evacuated to safety. Fortunately, no one was harmed in the chain of explosions, but fear had gripped the entire nation. The polling station in Pennsylvania was immediately shut down, and the election was disrupted, creating a significant rupture in the democratic process. In the months that followed, FBI investigations revealed that this was a terror attack targeting the election, not to cause casualties but to instill fear and disrupt the political system. Nevertheless, the explosions plunged the entire United States into disarray. The nation erupted in fiery debates over security, the future of America, and the shadowy forces behind this attack. The 2024 election had officially become a historical and terrifying event, not just because of the intense rivalry between the two candidates, but because of the hidden powers trying to manipulate the game. This was no longer a battle between two different futures for America, it had become a war between light and darkness. Who were they? Who were the ones pulling the strings, controlling both politics and terrorism? Was there anyone powerful enough to manipulate these forces? The results of the election had yet to be announced. The American people continued to wait in anxiety, uncertain of what lay ahead for their country. The journey to heal the nation's wounds had only just begun. Would Harris Moon or Trump Cati become the next president of the United States, or was something even more ominous awaiting ahead?